stuff like that.
How are you?
Appreciate that.
You shouldn't even mention.
Good.
How you guys doing?
Coach Shorts next.
Yeah.
Dana just was in here and mentioned Keelan Smith for the first time. What's that picture look like, and where's he made progress?
Keelan's coming along pretty well. He's just, taking it day by day, trying to get better, be the best version of himself as a person and a player. He just needs to continue to progress. He's got all the tangibles. It's just, if he can get the mental part right and continue to take the steps in the right direction, he'll be just fine.
Where have you seen Quinn grow in the past year or so?
Physically, I would say, in the weight room. Obviously, Coach Campbell and his staff, Kristen and their staff, they're doing a good job. But just physically and mentally, he's growing. Now, he's nowhere near where he needs to be. We need him to continue to progress and come along and do what he needs to do to help the team win, whether that's an offensive role or a special teams role. So, just needs to continue to work, keep his head down, and take a step in the right direction.
With the way Anthony plays, how much does that maybe change what you receivers do, just some of the off-schedule elements, and how have you guys worked on that?
Yeah, one, Anthony's, he's electric. He's got experience. He's jittery. He's wiry. He's fun to watch and he's fun to play with. With that being said, from a receiver aspect, the play's never dead. So he can create a ton of plays with his feet. He can slip out of a lot of tackles. So just in a receiver mindset, if I have one route, I run my route, and if I don't get the ball, then I need to run another route. So it's damn near like you're running two routes in one play. So just continue to keep the play on the move, and that's where you get a lot of the explosives and the big plays.
What would you like to see? Corey's had a couple of good years.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you want to see him grow and get better?
I would say just as much as any of the other guys, I just want to see the guys be consistency. Just be consistent. Corey's a really good football player. We all know what he can do in the return game and how he can change the game in punt return. Now it's time to take that electricness from the return game to the receiver position. So we're doing a little bit more with him. He just needs to stay focused and stay consistent, and I think he'll be just fine.
Did you guys kind of settle on we want him to play one spot, or can he play all three?
Yeah.
How's that?
I would say right now, he's a guy that can play all three. He's been here for a while. He's got a pretty good grasp on the offense. We kind of settle on him, just moving around a little bit, very play-specific things, trying to use his speed a little bit more, and then just his energy. We'd like to have him on the field. So, a lot of those other guys feed off of him. So just continue to do what he's doing and take the coaching points.
Dana spoke highly about Janiron Bonner.
Mm-hmm.
How is he in your room the whole time, or does he do some tight end stuff? How do you guys, share him in this offense?
Both. He's basically his own position offensively. Sat does a great job with him in the tight end stuff. Dana does a great job with him in the receiver stuff. But when you get a guy like that back, now it definitely improves the offense from a physicality standpoint, one, and then just having him out there, it's like a security blanket as a coach. He's a guy that's always going to give relentless effort. He's going to do the right thing, and he's going to strain to make the play, whether that's in the run game or in the pass game. So, just easing him back in. Obviously, his first time playing football since the injury in a while. So, but he's doing really, really good. He's a strong kid. He's a tough kid. So, it's definitely good to have him back out there.
Is he your best blocker, would you say, or there's some guys that
By far. From a physicality part, he's an extremely well blocker. With his size and his presence, he wants to thump you. So, it's nice to have that out there.
Has Quasi been what you would hope he would be in terms of his speed and his versatility?
Absolutely. Quasi's he's a unique player. He's got a lot of, savvy and creativity to him. Obviously, he was a 2-year starter at UCLA. So, as he continues to adjust here, it's just, molding him, into the vision that we want him to be, with allowing him to still be himself with it. So, we don't want him to be a robot, but also just, get used to our coaching, meshing, his play style with our coaching, and then meshing that with the quarterback, getting on the same page. But, he'll be a good player for us. Just got to continue to push him and challenge him so we can get the best out of him.
What's the next step you're looking for in Cortez?
Consistency. Cortez did some good things last year as a freshman. Obviously, he was still young. It's a long season where you're a freshman as far as physically, like your body just is draining. It's a long process, but just consistency from Cortez. He's such a likable kid, and I really do think he likes football. Just being consistent, just trying to get a step better every day. So if he can continue to do that, I think he'll be just fine.
Isaiah obviously made a lot of big plays last year. How can he grow his game now?
Yeah, just pushing him. So it's going to take a lot from the coaches. Obviously, in Isaiah, he's a physically gifted kid and he can run. So just pushing him and challenge him to play fast and play full speed. Working on techniques, getting in and out of the breaks, and attacking the football. We all know what he can do after the catch. So now for an Isaiah, for him to go where he wants to go is going to be, post snap, what he does before he gets the football. So as well as as much as he can continue to get better at that stuff, I think he'll take the next step in his game.
Coach Holgerson said that he doesn't feel like he's had an offense quite like this in terms of knowing what to do so quickly in about 12 years. That was the team you were on 12 years ago. What do you remember? What's he talking about when he says that this group is far along in like understanding the game since you were on those kinds of teams?
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing I would say is just being on the same page offensively as a player, if that makes sense. Obviously, coaches, we're going to, give the play, tell the guys what to do, the details in the play, coach them on techniques to use. But at the end of the day, the players are out there. So as much as those guys can be in sync and be on the same page, especially with the quarterback we have, the better off the offense will be. I think the guys are getting used to Coach Holgerson and how he calls it and the things he likes to do. So, with him, he's a very demanding play caller, but he also likes the guys to be lax and loose out there. Be comfortable enough to make plays. So. Just trying to find the fine line in between that and then still playing within the small details of the play. So, I think we're taking a step in the right direction. There's obviously going to be some growing pains with some new pieces, but, I like the way we're progressing. Having a quarterback definitely helps.
You understand this better than anyone else. When you say demanding, what do you mean by that? Because to us, he's pretty, like you say, pretty loose. But what do you mean by that?
He is loose. He's very laid back. Just when he's on the field, a lot of guys, especially the wide out position, he's very hard on those guys. I tell them just take the message and not the tone. He just, he loves it. He loves football. He likes having an explosive offense. He likes having good offense that can put up points. So, he's trying to take the step to work in that right direction as much as we are too as a staff. So, just having the guys just buy into him and his coaching style, which they have done a great job of. So it's been helping out a lot.
Jamari Brown and Will Purified, the second
Yeah.
in the program this summer. What went into adding those two guys? And what have you seen from those since they've been in the program?
Both of those guys camped here last summer, and they did a really good job. And we told them it was a senior eval. I know a lot of kids hear that and they're like, whatever. But we got to about June or end of May, I want to say. We got Purify at the end of May. After he went on a historic track run and late in the spring, and obviously we knew Jamari was going to come here. I would say starting off, both of those kids, their parents did a hell of a job raising them. They're phenomenal kids. They work extremely hard, and they're pretty smart. They just got here in June, and they're getting a grasp of the offense, which is why they're getting reps out there. They're going to be just fine. They just got to continue to follow the older guys and just, kind of learn how to take things and handle things day by day.
Is there a place where you want to see your group improve now in the second half of camp?
Absolutely. I would say, getting open, man coverage, running every route to win. Obviously, if you get zoned, you're running, it's easy. There's no hands on, it's no press. You don't have to, it's not as much strain. You're getting to the spot. But just, running every route to win, especially in man coverage, whether it's at being violent at the line of scrimmage, running full speed in between my route, being violent at the top of my route, and then attacking the football. If guys can do that, we'll have a pretty good shot. Now, the guys that can do that and get more after the catch are going to play more.
You seen a lot of man?
We have been the last few days of camp, which has been good for us. A lot of competitive periods, a lot of man, team settings, 7-on-7 settings, and obviously 1-on-1 individual drills, which the DBs have been giving us a lot of good work. Eddie's a good coach. Those guys are playing hard, challenging us, which, this is a tough league. You got to be able to beat man. So in order for us to do what we want to do, we got to continue to work on that.
Back to the same page comment you made. How much of that is Anthony's leadership and ability in the short time that he's been here to get everybody on the page?
A lot, if I'm being honest. Anthony's just he's a natural leader. He's kind of got that vibe in order to where the guys kind of gravitate towards him. So if he says something, they're going to listen. He lets them be themselves, and at the end of the day, he's one of the guys. So I think they respect that, not only in the receiver position, but offensively in the team. So, you know, when he speaks, the team listens, and everybody knows that he loves it, and he works hard. And when you got a guy that's competitive like that and practices the way he does, you have no choice but to do the same.
Do you mind, I don't know if you want to say or not, do you have some guys that are particularly good against man that you want to say? Are there guys in your room that they're really good against man?
We got to continue to get better at that. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I mean, a lot of those guys. Obviously, Quinn's a big body, and
Yeah.
Isaiah's strong. Quasi's got some creativity. So does Cortez. Corey's got his speed, and Keelan's coming along. But you know, you can't be violent and good at beating man coverage today, and then come out there tomorrow and not do the same. So we're just looking for consistency, guys that can take the technique, take the coaching points from the meeting room and onto the practice field, and whoever does that day in and day out, they're going to play more.
Anything else for Coach? Thanks. All right.
Thank you, guys.